Hello. How you guys doing today? You doing all right? All right. I'm glad to hear that. And if you're not doing okay, if you're not feeling well, sit down, perk up your ears, and I'll see if I can't make you feel a little better. How's that sound? Does it sound like a winner? Okay. Did you enjoy this week's? I feel like I've been talking nonstop for days. I think I'm going to just stop talking for a little while. What do you think?
I don't think you'll do it.
I think I will. I think I will stop talking. Now, we are going to do some best of next week, for sure. We are going to be on the road, Jared and I, for a few days, several days. I don't know. We're going to be on the road for a few days and then off the road and then back on the road for a few days. We're going to go over to Texas, to Nacogdoches. It's Nacogdoches, for those of you Yankees up there. We're going to see our friend Shane and Paul Howe at CSAT. That is the plan, and we will be on the road here in a few days to do that. Then we're going to go over to New Orleans. We're going to see some of our friends in the shooting sports industry, in the firearms industry, and so forth, at the NASGW, National Association of Sporting Goods Wholesalers, which doesn't really seem all that exciting to you, but we're kind of excited because we get to see our friends.
We like our friends, and yes, we do have them. You know what?
Do we like our friends, really? You're like,
yeah.
Wow, you like your friends? Because most people don't.
You know what I realized about how we have the radio website set up now is that when we do best ofs, it's actually good for the new people because they can't get anything past 50 episodes.
That's right. It's good for you. So if you just started listening here within the last few weeks, 50 episodes goes all the way back to like July.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So if you've been listening since August or July, and are not a grad program member.
Yeah.
There you go. And we have not decided which best of. I'll leave that up to Jared. He's the engineer and producer. Did you guys enjoy this weekend? I hope you did. We enjoyed our weekend. It was I'm glad that the week is here now because the weekend was so busy that I didn't really. You say, well, weekends are for relaxing. I don't really think I relaxed. Saturday we went to the range. We did some shooting. We did our corn maze thing, a little family time, and then all day Sunday we were in the studio. We did 4 hours. Well, I guess we didn't do 4 whole hours. We did 3 hours, and then the bonus hour, or what they call the after program, with Tom Gresham's Gun Talk. And thanks again to Tom and his entire crew for welcoming us onto their airwaves and allowing us the opportunity to speak to the Gun Talk audience. And I understand that a lot of you guys out there in the Student of the Gun audience also are part of the Gun Talk audience. We've got a whole week's worth of material for you, but this is the stories we have to talk about today. I could not pass them up. I really couldn't. And if you are a dedicated student of the gun, you know that I could not just pass these up without comment. But before we get into that, before we get into the recommendation that you should indeed be a man or a woman, let's talk about our featured sponsor of the week, Century Arms. Century Arms is the maker of the C39 rifle, pistol, RPK, the RAS 47. They've got a lot in their catalog. And some of you might be thinking, I've been wondering whether or not I might want to buy an AK-style rifle sometime. Maybe sometime in the future I will. Well, I'm going to tell you this. If you want to get one, now is the time. You want to get your hands on one now, or you can wait 3 or 4 months and pay $200, $300, $400 more than what you would pay today. So get in there. If you've been on the fence, vacillating back and forth whether or not you want to buy one, hey, you're an American, do what you want, but I would say go ahead and do it. Pull the trigger. Century Arms is our sponsor of the week, or our featured sponsor of the week. So do us a favor, go over to the Facebook page, Century Arms Facebook page, and thank them. Say thank you for sponsoring Student of the Gun. Who else? Velocity Triggers. Velocity Triggers is a good friend of ours. The Veers are friends of ours, and they make their triggers for precision, built for precision. Go to velocitytriggers.com. And Jared, do I sound like I'm doing the late shift? This is your friend P. Markle, and I'm on the late shift.
Oh, you just gave your middle name.
Oh, I did. I shouldn't have done that.
Maybe I'll bleep it.
Maybe you could bleep it.
I'm going to bleep it.
Crossbreed holsters. Carry a gun, carry the cross, carry a crossbreed holster. Or you could spend your money on a cheap, crappy holster and then replace it in a couple of months. It's up to you. Do we want to get... is there anything else we want to say before we give them the vagination music? Because we have a vagination report for you guys. It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Go to Student of the Gun Facebook page. You guys can stay up to date with everything that we're doing. And actually, I don't know if we said this on the radio or not. I know we said it on Gun Talk. But we gave Professor Paul access to the Twitter account, so he is actually dealing with that right now. I don't know how long that'll last, so you might want to get over to @StudentOfTheGun on Twitter and talk to him.
I'm on Twitter right now, and it says, the Committee to Apologize for Islamic Reprobates has awarded Ahmed Mohammed, the Clock Kid, the American Muslim of the Year award. I didn't even know there was such a thing.
They just made that up.
Wow. Isn't that wonderful? So there you go. Want a gun? Take a bullet. What?
Oh, yeah, you didn't see that yet?
Demands all gun... Salon.com demands all gun owners be shot.
About them?
Whatever. Anyway, so if you want to follow us, I will be ranting and raving and posting things on Twitter, on the Student of the Gun Twitter account. So there you go. We've had a bunch of people jump in so far since I took over. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I don't know either. That's what I was trying to figure out.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into this because you know people want to.
Tiptoe through the window, by the window, that is where I'll be. Come tiptoe through the tulips with me.
Aw, thank you, Tiny Tim, for our vagination update music. And this vagination update comes to us from the Huffington Post Women's section. Did you see that, Jared? It was by Huffington Post Women. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Jared is going to play an audio clip for you folks out here from the Huffington Post Women's section. And they interviewed some human creatures, and they asked them what they felt about masculinity. And I want you guys to go ahead and perk up your little ears and listen to what these Homo sapien creatures had to say about masculinity.
This is on their Facebook page, so please forgive any notification sounds that you hear.
Masculinity is what it means to be a man, which I think is not such a simple thing.
Masculinity means... Wow.
Defining masculinity is a deceptively difficult task.
It represents the person that brings home the bacon.
Dominance and power and control.
Being strong, being alpha.
Unflinching, lack of emotion.
Well, I think masculinity is obviously a front that men put up.
Obviously.
Masculinity is a taught thing and it's learned from around us.
Men are made to feel that they have to embody some certain, the epitome of toughness. And I think a lot of us pretend to be quite different than we really are.
We have to have the strength in ourselves to know what's for us and what's not for us.
If we're talking about traditionally in the sense of like what was masculine in the 80s, 90s, even the 2000s, there was still an attitude unchecked that it was about collecting as many women as you can.
I would say it's a way to differentiate yourself from women historically.
And where we get into trouble as individuals and as a culture is when we begin to say that a man can be this and a woman
get
can
into
be this,
trouble
and
with
there's
whom?
no room for no room for debate and there's no gray area.
I think especially being LGBT, maybe I already think about gender as very like fluid, so it's not something that is very relevant to me.
I think in an ideal world, I don't think masculinity would have a real definition.
Well, masculinity wouldn't mean anything.
In an ideal world, masculinity wouldn't exist. Men and women alike would be able to do whatever they want. And so those sort of like pressures to act a certain way as a man would go away too.
In an ideal world, stay-at-home dads would not be criticized for not being the
Who's criticizing them?
in their family.
Men wouldn't have to be afraid to show their emotions or to cry in front of other people.
You know, anger is an emotion too.
Start to break down these roles and to see that, yes, we're all human beings. We should all be granted a certain level of respect and dignity.
Everyone could be themselves, and their masculinity will be defined by their actions, not what they say they are or what they try to perceive to other people.
So ideally, there'd be no such thing as masculinity, no such thing as femininity, and we would just be people.
I understand that the men and the women in the audience right now, what was the thing from Billy Madison? Everyone in this room is now stupider for having heard that.
Yes.
At no point in time did you ever come close to a rational thought. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. Folks, let's go ahead and take a moment to dissect this. This is the epitome of the liberal progressive state. You can choose your own gender identity. No, you can't. Gender is masculine, feminine, neutral. Did you hear the one Homo sapien creature say, in an ideal world, there would be no such thing as masculinity and femininity? And then the other LBGXYZ creature there says something about gender roles and gender identities. Do these morons not understand that gender is masculine, feminine, neutral? Those are the three options in gender. So the one guy says that there should be no more masculinity and no more femininity, just people being people, right? And then the other guy wants to talk about gender. Really? They don't even have a concept of how to use the English language.
Well, they obviously had a script because they all were saying the same thing.
It sounded like steam escaping. I thought I was watching the end of Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Cut! You sissy Marys. Watch me. It sounds like steam escaping. Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft. Folks, here's the real deal. You want to know what the real deal is? I don't care how many shiny gadgets you have. I don't care how many blog posts you put up, how many YouTube videos you watch. We still live in a rock and stone world. Human beings born today are essentially the same creatures as those that were born 1,000 years ago and 2,000 years ago. The human being is a human being. You have male human beings and female human beings. And they are different. And they are supposed to be different. And every culture in the world has understood, every culture from whether it's Asian culture, China, Japan, European culture, African culture, what have you, has understood that men and women are different and that they complement each other. It's the whole yin-yang. If you've never read, actually, I highly recommend if you're a hardcore, serious student of the gun, this book is not for the casual reader. It's called The Demon Sermon on the Martial Arts and Other Stories. If you've ever read The Tao of Bruce Lee. You should read The Tao of Bruce Lee. You should read Sun Tzu. You should read... Musashi doesn't get into it too much. Read Shakespeare. Folks, men and women are supposed to be different. I don't want women to be like men. They complement each other. They're supposed to do that.
I think that I think this thought process that these people have comes from the destruction of team sports. Because men and women work as a team, and these people don't understand what it is to be on
part of a team,
be part of a team,
to
work
contribute
with a team.
Yeah. Well, and today you can't have sex exclusive teams. We have to let little girls and little boys all play on the same teams together because that's fair and equal and retarded. Ladies and gentlemen, and people are like, oh, aren't you afraid of offending women in your audience? No, not my audience. Maybe some casual, accidental listeners will be offended. But the women in the Student of the Gun audience, they know. Women out there, all right, all of you females, persons listening to me right now, do you want your men to be gender-neutral sissy Marys? Is that what you want? You want to know the truth? The only creatures on planet Earth that want men, that really legitimately want men to be soft and gender neutral and cry in public and what have you. And I like how they says they're not afraid to show emotion in public. Emotion isn't just crying. Emotion embodies lots of different things, like laughter and joy and anger, in addition to sadness. The only people in the world that want men to act like little sissy Marys are LGBT, MOUSE, XYZ people. Real women don't want their men to be sissy Marys. And unfortunately, what we find today is that women have a hard time finding real men. Ladies?
Less competition.
Ladies, am I speaking the truth here? I know I am. And men, let me tell you this, men, being a man is not having a man cave. Having a room filled full of electronic distractions does not make you a man. I saw something, I think it was one of our grad program people a while back. They shared a photo, and it says, we need to get away from the man cave and return to the study. And it was 2 pictures of it. And it was absolutely correct. Men used to retire to the study to speak with each other, enjoy brandy and cigars or scotch and cigars or what have you. We need American men to be men. That's part of the problem in the United States today, is those who are born with a penis don't even know how to be a man. We're gonna attack a little bit of that here with the Honey Badger book. But folks, it's ridiculous. Reject it. I reject it at every form. Every time it's put forward, I reject this nonsense that human beings are all just human beings and that you can decide your gender identity. No, you can't. You might have a mental illness and not know what you're supposed to do because you have mental illness. But folks, you don't get to decide. It's decided for you by your daddy. That's right, because the daddy decides the sex of the baby, because babies are born as a sexual creature. They are either male or female. They are not neutral, okay, unless they're a mutant. But that's something completely different.
No. You can't call a baby a male or female because they don't know what they are.
Yeah, they haven't decided yet their gender identity. No, it was... Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, this is not, and you say, oh, this is just one group of weirdos. This is an isolated incident. No, it's not an isolated incident. What do you do when you take away a person's basic fundamental identity, or you confuse them to the point that they don't even understand what sex they are? Somebody has to be there to hold their hands and make everything fair for them. Folks, in order for the state to assume control of the populace, of their lives, their day-to-day, waking and sleeping, everything that happens in between, you have to destroy two things. You have to destroy the church, and in the United States of America, it is the Christian church, not the death cult. And you have to destroy the nuclear family. You have to destroy the nuclear family. You have to remove the mothers and fathers, grandfathers and grandmothers, aunts and uncles, and so forth. So there is no support group. You have to destroy that. You have to break it down so the only support group that human beings can turn to is the state. So that every time they have a problem, an issue, they turn to the state for a solution. That is how you control the people from cradle to grave, from morning to dusk. Is you destroy the institutions that compete with the authority of the state. This is not a joke. This is not me being glib. This is a fact. And if you buy into this crap, and it's easy to buy into because you want to seem reasonable, you want to seem enlightened. So you just say, well, you know, everyone should be allowed to choose their own gender identity and blah, blah, blah. Don't do it. I'm telling you, listen to my voice. Reject it. Every time it is put forward, reject it. All right. So we heard from the Sissy Marys in America. Now, the next segment, we're going to hear from men. We're going to hear stories of men being men. Men taking care of business. Men doing what men need to do. But before that, we're going to remind you that when you go to SWATfuel.com, you should use the promo code, SWATfuelstore.com. Thank you very much. Use the promo code SOTG2015. And when you do that, you're going to save 10% off your total order, and that is righteous. Now, we have friends at Brownells, brownells.com. They have their emergency and survival gear. They have ammunition in stock, and they have pretty much every part you'd want to bolt or screw or attach to a gun, whether it's a pistol, rifle, or a shotgun. Now, while you're there, while you're at brownells.com, you can order Frog Lube because it just works, or you can order yourself up some Duracoat, the Duracoat can-in-can technology. And I'm looking at my show notes right now, and I'm missing the word Duracoat, but I'm going to correct that as we speak because, you know what, I have the technology and I can do that. So I actually, Zachary, the shipping ogre, I've picked out a Glock 17 for him. And I think, did I tell you that? I handed him the catalog and I said, hey, pick out whatever color you want. And so we're going to do a Duracoat project on Zach's G17. We were actually out at the range this weekend, and Zach was shooting his G17. All right, you got our Go Team moment? Because I'm kind of excited to share this with our fans.
That's why I say amen, I should.
Thank you, Filter, for our Go Team moment. And this comes to us from FoxNews.com. Illinois Army vet, 75, saved 16 kids from a knife-wielding teen reportedly plotting mass murder. Now, you may have heard this story by now, and I hope that you have. But then again, you may not have. And the story was published on October 17th, which was Saturday. And I looked, and, you know, I have Jared, I have the news reports on my phone. I have the news updates. And I knew this story was out there, right? I knew the story about this Army vet who fought off a knife-wielding maniac at a public library to help 16 kids get to safety, right? So you'd think, wow, that is a huge story. A 75-year-old Army vet, empty-handed, no weapons, takes on a 19-year-old with a knife who's like this maniac, walks in and says he's going to start killing people, right? So that should be, you'd think, a big story. That should be like the number one story. No. The number one the number one story on Saturday was a story about an ex-NBA junkie that was recovering from a drug overdose. That was the number one story in America.
I wondered. I saw a picture of the dude that got blew up by a grenade to save his team.
Yeah.
And then the other dude. And I didn't know who the other guy
junkie
was. Yeah. I'm glad that I didn't.
Yeah, I'm glad too. I never heard of the NBA junkie until all of a sudden he OD'd, and that's the top story in America. We really need to care about that. We don't need to care about people that are actual, real, genuine heroes. This guy here is an actual, genuine, bona fide hero. And what is the big media shoving in your face? Kardashian NBA druggie overdose. Oh, no, please. Oh, Jared, oh. You know what made me want to smash my head into a freaking wall? When I saw that the Kardashian family asks America to send their prayers out. What? Really? That there are Americans giving their lives. They're dying overseas, and you're all, please send your prayers out to this junkie who's, and this wasn't the first time. This wasn't like, oops, I think I'll try drugs for the first time in my life and I OD. No, this is a habitual junkie scumbag. And we're supposed to put all of our attention on that. Jared, somebody, what's it? Ignorance? Distraction. There you go. What did I tell you? Every time a story is shoved in front of your face, the number one story on Yahoo News or whatever, ask yourself, is this designed to keep me ignorant, distracted, or feeling guilty? So let's talk about a good guy. Let's talk about a bona fide good guy. A former Army vet. Okay, first of all, that is a stupid sentence, and a stupid sentence written by, they didn't, nobody took credit for this article. Apparently a machine wrote it. So he's no longer a vet? Jared, is that how that works? He's a former Army vet?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand that English.
Okay. How about I'll just correct it for the people at Fox News. An Army veteran is recovering from stab wounds after putting himself between 16 terrified children and a knife-wielding teen, let's call him a maniac, determined to kill at an Illinois public library this week. He actually ran into the room yelling, "I'm going to kill some people," James Vernon told the Daily News. Vernon, 75, a retired Caterpillar technology worker and an Army vet, is recovering from surgery at his home in Morton, Illinois. He was leading a chess club meeting with local kids at the Morton Library Tuesday when Dustin Brown, piece of human filth, 19, burst into the room holding a knife in each hand and threatening the children. What? Oh, wow. They have a quote from the piece of human filth, which I'm not going to share with you because I'm not going to give the piece of human filth any notoriety here. But it said that he's being charged with attempted murder. Vernon, the hero, described the two knives as hunting-type knives with fixed blades about 5 inches long. The 16 frightened children, ranging from ages 7 to 13, scurried under tables in the library's conference room as Vernon stood in front of Brown. He appeared to be angry and focused on his attention on the children. Vernon kept his cool, distracted Brown, and gave the kids a chance to escape. I tried to talk to him. I tried to settle him down, but I didn't. But I did deflect his attention from the kids and so forth. So, go team. Here we go. We have a man being a man. Jared, what do you think would have happened if any of those metrosexual LBGT, MOS, if they would have been in that room with these kids?
They probably would have ran with the kids. However, did you see the video? It was with the musket, the dude that walks into the office with the musket?
No.
Okay, so
I have not subjected to myself to that propaganda.
Yeah, this dude walks into an office with. You guys need to watch this video. Anybody that can hear my voice, pull up the video. It's an ad for like every town for gun safety or something like that. The dude walks into an office building with a musket, and he goes up to the dude that he wanted to shoot, and he fires the bullet, and then he proceeds to pull. He stops, pulls the rod out, and he starts doing like cleaning it or loading it again
He's
or
gonna
whatever
reload
he's
it,
doing.
yeah.
So they're trying to push that as, oh, if these people only had muskets, then that wouldn't happen. I'm like, no, he would have that, and he would have a couple other pistols, and he would have a knife. But
A
my
bayonet,
thing,
a tomahawk.
yeah, my thing with the video is nobody in that video attacked the guy after he shot the first time.
They just watched him stand there, and
they just ran. Nobody stopped him. I was like, seriously?
Well, that's because that is their view of the world, that you don't fight back. It's not your responsibility. It's the state's responsibility to fight back for you on your behalf.
This is ridiculous. I can't do this anymore.
All right.
And this here, it says, at the time of the incident, Brown was free on bond while facing prosecution charges of possessing child pornography. So he should have been in jail.
Well, you can't just put people in jail, Jared. Come on. Oh, we got another Go Team story for you, and I put this one up with the other one so that we were only going to do one Go Team moment. But this actually just popped into our inbox as we were preparing for the show. And it's dated October 18th, 2015. The source is WZZM 13. Police. Pastor shoots, kills attacker in a church. Ha ha ha! And one of our fans actually hit me to this. A Detroit church service turned tragic today, and this was obviously on Sunday, when a man with a brick went after the pastor, but likely didn't anticipate what would follow. The pastor pulled out a semi-automatic pistol, because you know those are the most dangerous ones, the semi-automatic. And fatally shot the man. They knew each other and had some type of problem before, Assistant Detroit Police Chief Stephen Doulant said of the pastor and the victim. When I got there, the body had already been moved. The pastor was in custody, and we had the gun. The shooting happened.
The victim? Who was the victim?
Well,
the victim should not have been the guy that came in with the gun.
With the brick?
I mean, with the brick.
Yeah. Well, I know that. You know that. You know what's really cool about this story? Is it has a beer and bacon celebration advertisement on it.
Oh, yeah.
That is awesome.
You know they're doing a bacon fest at the IP.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's on November 14th.
You think it's sponsored by the Committee to Apologize for Islamic Reprobates?
Maybe.
All right, let's continue. The shooting happened about 1:45 p.m. shortly after a 1:30 service got underway at the City of God Storefront Church and Grand River Avenue in Lasher. The man with the brick actually made it into the church, but went after never actually made it into the church, but went after the pastor in the vestibule. The pastor, whom Doulant didn't have a name for, responded with gunfire, shooting the man multiple times, including the chest. The man died short while later. So, rock on, Go Team moment. You're like, oh, but he only had a brick. Hey, for those who out there who would say he only had a brick, I'm going to ask you this. How many times will you let me hit you with a brick before you decide to do something? If I hit you with a brick...
We need brick control.
Yeah, we need brick control. We absolutely need brick control. I don't know what's going on up there in Detroit that people can just randomly get bricks without a background check. Come on. Can't we just be reasonable?
I have a slogan for bricks.
You're looking for bricks?
No, I have a slogan for bricks.
Oh, no. Really?
Yeah.
Go for it.
You don't be something that rhymes with brick. You got to ban that brick.
Oh, you're so bad. So, Go Team, we're glad that we have more pastors that are arming themselves. They get it. They're protecting the flock. And you say, well, maybe he wasn't going to attack the flock. Folks, I'm telling you, people need to get on board. They need to get it. We talked yesterday or 2 days ago on the Tom show on Gun Talk. And I said, why is it that after every heinous crime, after every mass murder, the first thing we're told to do, the good people, after every time a bad person attacks and kills good people, the state looks out at the good people and tells them that they need to surrender. That's how we're going to fix this. We just need you to surrender more of your liberties and more of your freedoms. If you potential victims, if the good guys would just be willing to surrender more of their freedoms, then the bad guys would stop attacking you. That's about as insane as telling me that a toddler should be allowed to choose its own gender identity. That's the exact same nonsense that we get from those kind of people. Jared, do you have our Merry Old England update theme? We were going to do, we already did vagination, and this is very, very vag-tastic, this next story, but I didn't want to do vagination report twice in one show because, I don't want to overdo it. But the story originated in Great Britain, so we're going to use our Merry Old England update theme.
Anarchy for the UK is coming sometime. Maybe I'll give her on time. Stop a traffic line. Your future dream is a shopping scheme. 'Cause I wanna be
Anarchy! I want to be! Oh, thank you, Sex Pistols! Oh, Sid Vicious! Johnny Rotten! All right, I'll admit it. I look for every chance I can to use the Anarchy in the UK update theme. All right, controversialtimes.com. Dudes, this is... Yeah, wrap your head in duct tape because what you're about to hear is going to make your brain explode. And man finds, quote, terrifying, unquote, discovery in puddle. Immediately calls police. Local press responds. And the story here by Reagan Wilson on October 18th, 2015. The local police and local media responded after a man in Fossgate, England, made a startling discovery outside of his, apparently, his dingo ate his baby. No, outside of a music shop. According to the York Press, Tim Stark was unloading items in front of his shop. I wonder if he's putting them in the back of a lorry. Yeah, I don't know. When he saw something in a puddle back in 2011.
Why is this story just
I don't know, but it's still super vag-tastic.
Yeah.
It turned out to be a .22 caliber round. Stark immediately called local police and the local media, both of whom responded. And we're going to go now to the local media story, and this is from yorkpress.co.uk. I'm sorry, and this story is old, but it's still so vag-tastic.
No,
I can't even.
This says October 18th, 2015 is when this was published.
A startled man has told how he found a bullet lying in a York City Center street. Tim Stark said that he was unloading items for the More Music Store when he saw a live .22 bullet gleaming in a puddle. He immediately called police. I had no idea what it was doing there, he said. A North Yorkshire police spokesman said the bullet had been put into safe storage. Like, he said the bullet had been put into safe storage, and CID and confirmed that it was not thought to be connected with any other incident under investigation. Oh, my God. You're so weak. You tax slaves in England, and this guy's posing. That's the thing that's the coolest about this. It's a dude, he's like proudly posing by the curb where he found the .22 caliber bullet. Folks, it's a .22 LR rimfire cartridge. That's what this guy found. Thank the Lord that the bobbies showed up and put that into safe storage. You know what's safe storage at my house? The dryer. It doesn't happen so much anymore, but when I was working full time as a firearms and tactics instructor, the shelf. You remember that, Jared? The shelf over the washer and dryer. Your mother would.
Oh yeah, there was
a row of cartridges that she pulled out of the dryer. You mean they didn't go off? No, they didn't go off. And this is actually a testament to how well military grade ammunition is made. Is I would take those after she collected them on the shelf, and I'd throw them back in my pocket, and I'd go to the range, and I'd load them up and shoot them. So they went through a full wash and dry cycle, and I loaded them back up and shot them. Dude, I was digging for change the other day. We were at Sonic drive-thru. I stopped to get the kids ice cream, and all I had was my card. I didn't have any cash on me. And I always like to tip the little Sonic girl on the rollerblades, the roller skates. I was like, man, I kind of feel like a jerk. And there's no option to tip them with a card, So I said, well, I know there's got to be some quarters and change. It's better than just saying, hey, thanks for the memories. You get nothing. So I was digging in the console, and in addition to the quarters, nickels, dimes, and pennies, I also came up with 7 9mm cartridges. But I didn't try and hand the 9mm cartridges to the little car hop girl because I didn't want to scare her. Because as far as I know, she might have just, transplanted, come here from the UK, and seeing a cartridge of ammunition might have given her a fright. What do you think, Jared? If the car hop girl would have seen a cartridge of ammunition, it might have given her a fright. No. Actually, most of them down here, they probably would have been like, rock on.
Can I show you the one that I have?
Yeah, well, actually, seriously, in today's world, 7 9mm cartridges, that's worth over $1.
Yeah.
That's more than $1. That's like $1.50, $1.75 tip. If somebody, if I was a car hop and somebody wanted to tip me in 9mm cartridges, I'm like, yeah, rock on, brother. Give it up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and admit that last story was so vag-tastic, and I know it's an old story. You probably haven't heard it yet, but I couldn't pass it up. I'm sorry, I just couldn't pass it up. I wonder if the Tim Stock, if he has any sharp objects in his house, or if he's already binned that knife. Tim, have you binned your knife yet? God in heaven. Sweet boot on a rubber raft. You're so weak. How do you have a nation that is so weak? How do you even get up and survive each day when the weakness is so profound? But you know what's sad is every one of the people in that Huffington Post propaganda video there, they probably would have done the same thing. They probably would have called the police. Call the police! I found a live round.
How do you get to the point where you're
the rubber bullets that the reporters found in Ferguson? Took pictures of them.
Did you see the picture of the little screwdriver tips?
Oh, yeah. Assault weapon bullets.
I really hope that was a joke. But the sad thing is that it
might not be.
Yeah, that's the sad thing that we have to question.
There is a chance that in America today that someone would see, screwdriver tips, and think that they were bullets.
Got any tips?
Got any tips?
Shredded like a Julian Scott.
Oh, did I tell the audience that I actually got Nancy to sit down and watch?
Oh no. Yeah, because she always falls asleep. So
Tropic Thunder. Yeah, I got her to watch Tropic Thunder all the way through, and she enjoyed it very much. Folks, if you haven't watched Tropic Thunder yet, if somehow you are listening to me today and you've missed that movie, you need to fix yourself. That is your homework assignment. Watch Tropic Thunder. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, that's it. The clock on the wall says I'm supposed to stop talking now. So Jared's going to go ahead and cue up the bumper music or the outro music. It's not really bumper music because we don't have commercial breaks. All right, kids. Remember, you're a beginner once, but you should indeed be a student for life.